I'm just taking it all in. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've managed to get out to film this year, and to be honest, looking around me, it's well worth the wait. I've brought you today to not just one of my favourite corners of Yorkshire, but one of my favourite corners of the whole world, Swaledale in the Yorkshire Dales. And because we're already 4 months into the year and this is the first time I've actually managed to get out due to COVID restrictions, I'm actually cramming quite a bit in today. So I'm here in this area for 3 reasons. The first of which is to check out one of our Yorkshire Photo Walk locations, which is coming up on the schedule in early June. At time of recording, there's still a few places left available on it, so if the footage from today's video tickles your fancy, then check out yorkshirephotowalks.com and book yourself a place. We'll also be going to 2 other amazing locations in this vicinity on the same day. So if you fancy a wonderful day out of photography just to get away from it all after everything that's been going on, then as I say, yorkshirephotowalks.com is the place to be to get yourself a place on those sessions. The second reason why I'm in the area today is to check out my new drone. If I'm brutally honest, I lost the charger for my old one in my house move last year, and when I looked to replace it, the prices for the charger was actually as much if not more than the drone itself cost. So I thought I'd upgrade and future-proof myself a bit, so I'm taking this little beauty for its maiden flight today. So if I manage to master the controls and get a few good shots, then hopefully you'll see a few of them in this video today, fingers crossed. And of course the final reason why I'm here is to film this video, which is taking a part of the latest episode in our Basics of Photography series, and it's going to be all about diversifying your photography. So without further ado, let's get our best foot forward and crack on in this magnificent location. When I say diversify, I don't necessarily mean dramatically. I'm not saying go out and buy a drone because it's the thing to do, he says, looking down at his new drone, or completely change the style and type of photography you're interested in, because that's not going to help anybody. No, I'm talking on a much more simple level. One of the things that photographers from all walks of life will say that really frustrates me is that, oh, I couldn't get the shot that I wanted. Let me be brutally honest with you. The shot that you want doesn't exist. And you might say, well, hang on there a minute, Tom. It does, because I've just seen it in that magazine, or somebody's just posted it to Instagram. But firstly, that photograph isn't yours, it's somebody else's. And to copy it would be just copying them, not making your own thing. And secondly, the chances of getting the exact conditions, unless you're under really controlled conditions, is pretty much 99% not going to happen. These days we see photography as being pretty instantaneous. We can press a button and hey presto, a photograph will appear on the screen on the back of our camera, and if you so wish, within minutes or even seconds you can share that photograph with the world on social media. But personally, I think for good photographers and for good photographs, photography shouldn't be instantaneous, because a lot of thought goes into good shots and a lot of preparation and planning as well. When we see photographs in magazines or on Instagram, we often think of that instantaneous nature of photography, whereas in reality that photograph could have taken years to perfect. The more we think of it that way and look behind the photograph to what potentially went on in that photographer's mind or in the preparation to make that photograph, then the reality suddenly hits and we start to realise that we can't just simply rock up at a location and think we're going to get a perfect photograph every time, because it's just not going to happen. So how can we diversify how we make photographs to not just come away from somewhere that we've been photographing feeling disappointed because we haven't got that one good shot, but come away with a memory card full of half-decent photographs that will complement your portfolio and ultimately lead to something even better further down the line? One of the first reasons, no, let's call it an excuse that people come up with to say that they couldn't get the perfect shot, is they say, oh, the light was terrible, or the weather changed at the last minute. But take this weather today and this location as an example. It might be blue sky with dappled cloud, which can be some landscape photographers' idea of a dream start to the day when they see this sort of weather. But it's coming up to midday and the light is really strong and the shadows are quite harsh. And as you can probably tell from this footage, I'm probably in quite dark shadow, whereas the sky through the gap there is probably slightly overexposed, and because our cameras can't rectify that, then we often see that as being a bad type of photograph, which, granted, a landscape photograph should be nice and balanced. But what we shouldn't do is think that the light is bad. There's no such thing as bad light in photography, just bad preparation by photographers. Instead, what we need to do is diversify how we use that light and maybe change the sort of location where we are or the subject matter that we're focusing on to make the most of the light that we actually have. As I've been wandering round Crackpot Hall trying to make a few photographs and wrecking my session for a few months' time, I've been trying to utilise the light and the conditions as much as I possibly can. So instead of going for those wider landscape shots, because the light is quite frankly too harsh for that, the eye wouldn't follow the lines that they would do if the light was slightly softer. What I've been trying to do is emphasise those deep shadows and create a bit of mood and dynamism to the photographs that I make. When I set off this morning, I didn't really have any photograph in mind that I was going to take. I was just going to come, have a look round and make the most of what I had, which I think personally is a really positive way to approach photography. Because if you don't, then A, you're going to be limiting yourself quite dramatically to the photographs that you're going to be able to take. And secondly, you're going to miss out on some amazing shots that you could just walk past with the wrong sort of mindset. As I was driving up here today, I was listening to an interview with a well-known Scottish photographer called David Yarrow, really good commercial photographer. And I'm paraphrasing here, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was basically saying the next brilliant photographer that will burst onto the scene won't be somebody who sits back and waits for something to happen. It will be somebody who goes out and grabs photography and life by the proverbials and makes something new. And I think that's what diversification in our photographs can do. Instead of sitting back and waiting for the perfect light, which might never come, and waiting for that perfect shot, which could be 3-4 years down the line, we can go out, try new things, try and alter the way that we make our photographs and the way that we see the world around us. And by doing so, not only do we come back much happier, feeling that we've got some photographs that are worthwhile or that have made the trip worthwhile, rather than coming back disappointed because we haven't got that perfect shot. But we might also start to see things in a different way and start to change the way that we make photographs for the better. And for me, I think that's always going to be a positive thing. Photography is a creative process. And to be a creative individual in the first place, you have to think outside the box, try something different, something new. So next time you go out with your camera, don't go out with just one specific photograph in mind. Go out with an open mind. Go to a location and just explore and make the most of what you find when you get there. If you diversify the photographs that you make based upon the light, the conditions, the location, then you're much more likely to go home feeling content rather than frustrated, and have a memory card full of photographs that you can be proud of. In a moment, I'll share with you some of the photographs that I've taken on this photography trip to Crackpot Hall today. But before I do, like I said at the beginning of the video, if these photographs and this footage that I've shot today has inspired you to get out into magnificent Yorkshire landscapes like this, then check out yorkshirephotowalks.com for our latest schedule, and you could be joining me right here to improve your photography skills and experience the photography of Yorkshire. You can also follow Yorkshire Photo Walks at Photo Walks Yorks on Facebook and Instagram for all of our latest photo walk photographs and news. And please like this video, give it a good thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, because it does help spread our name across YouTube. I'd also like to hear from you in terms of comments about what I've covered in this video today. I'm always interested to hear what other people's perspectives are on this idea of diversification within our photography skills. And also, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already for more content like this. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be getting out a lot more frequently over the coming weeks and months to share more of beautiful Yorkshire with you. So stay tuned to the channel and subscribe for that. So I think I'm just going to have another little wander around the Crackpot Hall here, try and make the most of what I can find at this location when in the current conditions that I have, and hopefully, as I say, in a moment I'll share some of the photographs that I've taken, and they might not be world beaters, but hopefully they'll be worthwhile the trip coming up here. And also I'm going to put that drone up again and see if I can find some more interesting angles to shoot. Until next time, thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode.
you.